Hi, folks, it's Liz here, sharing a few lessons from behind my bifocals. I read a book called Love by Gregory J.P. Godek that listed the 10 most important words in any loving relationship. And as I read it, I found myself smiling, thinking of my dear Clem, my late husband, best friend, and partner in laughter for so many years. It reminded me of, what real love looks like. Not the movie kind, but the everyday kind. The kind that laughs, forgives, grows old, and keeps its sense of humor even when the knees don't. Let's talk about those 10 little words and what they really mean. 1, trust. Trust is the foundation of love. Without it, even the best relationship gets wobbly. It's knowing that your partner's intentions are good, even if their memory and timing isn't. Clem and I had that down to an art. I trusted he'd take out the garbage every Tuesday, and he'd trust I'd let him, which, if you knew me, was, the bigger miracle. There were times I reminded him gently, and other times, with the tone that could melt butter. But we both knew underneath it all that we were on the same side. That's what trust really is. 2, intimacy. People think intimacy means candlelight and soft music. But real intimacy is much deeper. It's the quiet comfort of being known, the kind where you can share your fears, your dreams, and even your last cookie. Clem and I had that closeness. He'd tell me a secret and swear me to silence, and I'd promise with my fingers crossed on my back. Of course, intimacy is built in those small, silly moments when you realize, you're completely safe being yourself, wrinkles and all. 3, communication. Good communication isn't just talking, it's truly listening. It's being willing to understand before being understood. Now, Clem and I had our own, version of communication. I'd tell him exactly what to do, and he'd nod, sometimes grinning, sometimes mumbling. Sometimes that looks suspiciously like sign language. But over time, I learned that sometimes the best communication isn't in words at all. It's in the quiet companionship of sitting side by side, saying nothing, and still feeling close. 4, commitment. Commitment isn't just about staying. It's about choosing to stay over and over again. It's saying we're in this together, even when you'd rather hide in the bathroom, with a crossword puzzle. There were times I warned Clem that if he didn't stop talking to that darn rabbit in the backyard, I'd have him committed. And he just laughed, knowing I never would. But commitment is that steady, daily decision to love, forgive, and begin again, even on days when your patience is wearing thinner than your hair. 5, love. Love changes through the years. It starts with butterflies and turns into comfort, into shared laughter, knowing glances, and gentle teasing. Clem used to love doing things for me, especially when I suggested them. I loved watching his face when he realized I volunteered him for another chore, but that was our kind of love, playful, loyal, full of forgiveness and pie. Love isn't a feeling, it's a practice. It's the daily choice to show up for each other and to laugh through the hard bits. 6, friendship. When all the fireworks fade, friendship is what holds you together. Clem and I were friends first, partners second, and occasional adversaries somewhere in between. We had private jokes, quiet moments, and the kind of friendship where you don't need to explain yourself. He kept the peace by keeping me happy, and let's just say he was a very peace-loving man. Friendship, is that easy companionship that grows out of trust and humor. It's what remains even after love changes shape. 7, patience. Patience might be the hardest word of all. It's realizing that not everything has to happen right now, especially when right now involves waiting for someone to find their glasses that are already on their head. Clem's get up and go had got up and left, and it took patience to watch him shuffle through his chores at the speed of a a dial-up connection. Well, that was the olden days. But anyway, he needed patience with me too, my endless suggestion and my talent for repeating myself. Patience is love wearing work boots. It's steady, humble, and kind. Humor. If you can laugh together, you can survive almost anything. Laughter softens sharp edges, bridges gaps, and brings light where life feels heavy. Clem and I had laughed our way through everything: misunderstandings, mishaps, even mistakes. He laughed at my jokes, especially the ones aimed at him, and I laughed with him so he wouldn't feel alone in his laughter. A shared chuckle can fix more than a counselor ever could, and it burns calories, which I count as exercise. 9, flexibility. Flexibility in love isn't about touching your toes. It's about bending without breaking. It's learning to adapt as life changes, even when your body and your plans don't cooperate. Clem's flexibility wasn't what it used to be, physically or otherwise. I remember watching him stoop over as, he'd drag the garbage bags to the curb, muttering about raccoons or something. My own flexibility had gone out with the arthritis in my hip, but love taught us to bend in other ways, to accept, adjust, and keep moving forward together. 10, forgiveness. Forgiveness is love's greatest gift. It's letting go of small hurts so you can hold on to each other instead. Clem and I both had stubborn streaks. I told him I could forgive almost anything as long as he changed his ways to my liking. He forgave me for being bossy, and I forgave him too for pretending not to hear me. Forgiveness is a form of freedom. It's remembering that love is bigger than the mistakes we made. So those are the 10 words: trust, intimacy, communication, commitment, love, friendship, patience, humor, flexibility, and forgiveness. Clem may be gone now, but the lessons he left behind are still here. Love doesn't end, it just changes form. It lives on in the laughter that still echoes in the kitchen, in the wisdom that grows with every memory, and in the quiet knowing that life's best teachers are often the ones who shared our mornings and our messes. If I've learned anything, it's this: love doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. It just needs to be real. And if you can still laugh through it, you're doing just fine. What experiences or wisdom do you have to share with us? Please leave it in the comments. I read everything. Meanwhile, take care, keep smiling. Bye for now.